Hi, and welcome to the Boat Princess podcast. My name is Nicky Vaux, and I'm your host. I am a boat owner, a marina owner, a director on the Marina Industries Association, and a huge advocate for boating. In this series, I'm sharing the stories from every nook of the boating industry with the intention of encouraging more women to join me and for more women to get behind the helm too. I want to share the experience and opportunities of boating, of the boating industry, and I want you to join me as I bring the conversations and answer all the questions you've had. Boating is not just for the glamorous and rich and famous. It's full of beautiful and interesting people making the most of our natural environment and getting out there, enjoying the waterways. So let's let off the lines, take over the helm, and escape to the world of boating. Welcome to another episode of the Boat Princess podcast. I am here today with Alison Thompson. Alison Thompson is with Princess Yachts. She is their head of learning and development. Welcome, Alison.
Thank you very much.
Nice to have you here.
Nice to be here.
Now, I know you've been here, about 4.5 years?
Yeah, that's right.
Lots of people that come into the boating industry have had an amazing time with boats as a kid, and that's how they came into this industry. But you've got a little bit of a different story there, haven't you?
I have. I've never been on a boat before I joined Princess Yachts.
So I know you're from Plymouth, right?
I am.
So you've seen Princess Yachts here all of your life. Tell me a little bit about that.
So I grew up in Plymouth, very much part of a middle-class family. My dad had a car. We used to go out on family journeys at weekends. And I can always remember seeing a Princess Yacht being transported across the city and always thinking that it would be part of a world that I would never see or touch or feel. So it was always very interesting. One of those good luck stories from Princess in Plymouth.
That's lovely. You're in HR.
I am.
You've been fully trained in that area. Tell me about your qualifications and why you went into that space.
So I kind of almost fell into learning and development when I was 18. I worked for a firm of solicitors at the time. And back in the days, we had no computers then, so it makes me sound like I'm 180. But
she's not. She's very young.
160 maybe. So I was asked to start to train individuals in our word processing department. Really enjoyed it. Found that I could get paid for talking for a living, which was always great for me. And so I started delivering training on a one-to-one basis. I had a family, didn't think that I wanted to go back to that environment with 2 young children. So I went back to college and got a teaching degree and taught IT part-time, both evenings and weekends. Seemed to have a knack for it. I really enjoy putting people at ease and feeling like I'm making a difference to them. So I was encouraged to go back to uni when I was 29. So I went back to uni when I was 29, had 3 children under 3 and got my teaching degree. I then worked for the NHS. I implemented the electronic patient's health record across the Southwest in the Community Trust, which I really enjoyed. And then made the move to Bristol, where, again, I was the IT training manager for the UK, and also then did a lot of work overseas and in America, bringing IT to life for an awful lot of people. Really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I then joined a facilities management company, as far away from yachting as you could possibly think of. And I was responsible for training 77,000 staff across the UK and a whole range of different things. And that's when I got more involved in the softer skills. So looked after the compliance training, technical training, catering, hospitality, pest control, IT, leadership and management, a whole range of different things. Really, really enjoyed it.
So by facilities management, you mean property management right across?
Yeah, so absolutely integrated facilities management. So everything from front of house to document solutions, to catering, to pest control, to cleaning, to security, to a whole range of everything that makes your office work seamlessly if you're going to outsource it to a different organisation.
Wow,
so that's
big
what
job.
we used to do. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Lots of travel, lots of talking, making a difference. So yeah, great we saw some great organisations from the inside out. So I saw Harrods from the inside out, for example. I understand what makes the London Eye tick. Worked for different pharmaceutical organisations. So it was a really good insight to a way that a lot of businesses operate. One of the great things was that actually leadership and management solutions and talent solutions are absolutely the same, irrespective of what industry you work for.
Interesting. Give us a funny story about one of those behind-the-scenes moments for you.
Well, I was quite nervous about delivering a whole host of IT training for a bunch of bank managers. You always grow up thinking that a bank manager is the job to have, and they were more interested in learning how to do clip art to show their children when they got home than they were on spreadsheets or anything else to do with that.
I love that. That's great. Just shows you your bank manager's human too.
Very much so. Well, I don't know. Maybe mine isn't.
I hope mine is.
Special mention.
So you went from that particular role, which was a huge role by the sounds of it, and you're still based in Bristol at that time?
I was still based in Bristol. I was then headhunted to go and work for the Defence Equipment and Support, which was a separate trading legal entity from the civil service, dealing with all of our armed forces and making sure that they had all of the equipment to make sure that our troops were safe. That resonated with me because my husband was a Royal Engineer for 26 years. So I joined them and I helped, as the head of leadership and talent, transform and move away from the civil service, all of the leadership and talent solutions for the Defence Equipment and Support. So it's really good. Worked with 1,500 serving military, so great.
That's a massive responsibility. Yeah, because literally making sure the boys and girls out there are taken care of. That's incredible.
Yeah, so then I was approached by Princess Yachts to come and work for them back in Devon, and I thought, well, what's the transition from warships to yachts? So it's all on the water, right? So it can't be that different. So I really liked the thought process of coming back to my hometown. My family is still in Plymouth. My mum was here, and I thought it would be a great opportunity to come back, work for an organisation that had gone strength to strength over the last 50 years, and actually spend a little bit more time with my family. So that's what I did. And I've been here now for 4.5 years.
That's fantastic. So a real full circle of going out there and having an amazing career and then coming and still having an amazing career, but right in your hometown.
I know, I love it. I really love working for Princess.
Yeah. Oh, they're an amazing company. They certainly come across as an amazing company from an outsider. So, yeah. I mean, I was talking to Bill about this earlier today, that you seem to have a great history and pride in this company, which I get the feeling would help with the culture of the people that you have here. Do you agree with that, Alison?
Yeah, 100%. I feel very much that there is very much a family feel here. We talk about the Princess family almost from day one when I joined, and that's one of the things that I find quite intriguing. We have this fantastic brand image, but we're not overly corporate in every single area. And certainly our apprenticeship scheme has up to 3 generations at any one given time working for Princess. And last year's cohort and intake had the grandson of someone who was interviewed by David King, one of our founders.
Wow, that's just amazing. That's incredible. Oh, how lovely. So you are heavily involved with the apprentice system that you have here. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
So we use our apprenticeship scheme to bring in new talent into our organisation, making sure that we have the right trades within the organisation to make sure Princess is not just fit for now, but fit for the future is absolutely key. With over 80% of our yachts being handcrafted and an ageing workforce, it's really important to keep those key skills in the organisation. So our apprenticeship scheme focuses on the main key crafts or technical skills. So we have boat builders, we have engineering, we have fabrication and welding, and we have composites. We then also touch around all of the office skills, so HR, payroll, finance, logistics, health and safety, L&D, all of those areas we also offer apprenticeships in as well. And we also build our apprenticeship scheme around our talent scheme. So we offer different opportunities right up to degree level for our existing staff as well.
So presumably you kind of assess when you're taking somebody on and they start working with you, you kind of judge that talent?
We do. When we are looking for each new cohort, we look for a fine balance. So I look at those prospective apprentices for our future leaders, and I also look for those that are going to be really good, solid craftsmen. We have dedicated leadership pathways across our apprenticeship schemes as well, but it's really important to remember we need people to build our boats, and that's what we look and focus on as well.
And having done a tour of the factory just now, I mean, the level of quality of work that's being done here, you know, you can be equally proud whether you're a leader in this or a craftsman, as you say, because they really are craftsmen, aren't they, and craftswomen, aren't they?
They are. So we run a whole series of careers events, both for local schools and also some of the community groups, to bring those skills to life. Certainly my team works very closely with primary schools so that we have the young individuals growing up knowing that the art of possible is down to them. You know, I think that if you look at careers events when you're around 14, 15, it's too late. They've already had the external influences from home. They've already have their mindset on the path that they want to take. But actually, if we start talking to them when they're much, much younger, we can build that enthusiasm and we can continue to get that to grow. That's what we do.
That. Yeah, just like boating. I mean, if kids get into boating, they usually follow through right through their adult life.
I know. I should have bought that dinghy when I was 6.
Are your kids into boating?
No.
Alison, we've got to work on that.
I know. I've got 3 boys, so no, I know. Maybe I'll try again with my grandchildren.
You'll have time then.
Yeah, maybe.
So you've worked in different industries before and you've then come into the boating industry. What do you think is different about our industry compared to those other ones that you were in?
I love the enthusiasm.
The passion, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the ability to make a difference. I love being at the forefront of design. I think one of the reasons why I went into L&D when I was much younger was that I wanted to make a difference. I hate following in somebody else's footsteps, and Princess gives me that opportunity to do that. Yeah,
yeah, and I guess it's also a technology space, isn't it? So it's constantly evolving and becoming.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's really.
Yeah, one of the things we do for our brand new cohorts of apprentices every year is we take them to Southampton Boat Show. So they have the opportunity to see 6 or 7 of our Princess yachts fully dressed, customer ready, so that they can go on, they can have a look at what the finished products look like and actually start to build brand pride. They're part of this whole organisation towards doing that. And one of the other things that they also have the opportunity to do is to look at our competitors, and actually with no prompting whatsoever, in they go, they look at our competitors, they look at where they see the differences, and they come back with a story to tell. And that type of thing you can't teach in a classroom. Yeah. That's priceless. That's awesome. I'm so proud. You know, when I first joined, you think I walked around all of the yards with my mouth wide open at these amazing vessels, but they very quickly become part of your natural habitat. But going up to the Southampton Boat Show with our first year apprentices every year reawakens that passion, and you see them for the first time through somebody else's eyes, and that's amazing.
That is incredible. Yeah, yeah, because boat shows are quite special.
They are.
Yeah, and yeah. I do think people should take their kids to boat shows when they're young, because it is an experience that is like no other.
Agreed.
And they can literally go across those, and I think it's quite a good way of I guess incentivizing your kids to want to do well,
yes,
work hard at school, because they could own one of those.
I know,
and that is I think that's an incredible incentive for them, because they are kind of almost a world that's very different to any other. So I think it's a really good thing to do, to take kids to boat shows.
Agreed. And I know when we're interviewing, I probably shouldn't tell you this, but we always ask them what their favourite boat is. And for those that have a real passion, it really comes through. And I always think it's quite sad when you have someone who comes for an interview and their grandfather or their father worked here, and they'll say, oh, well, you build boats, didn't you? We're like, but we're much more than that. So, go and talk to your parents and your grandparents and come back and see me again, and we'll have a different conversation. But it always makes a difference.
Yeah, love that. Because it is a passionate business. There is a love for boating that exists in so many people that work in this industry, and that really comes across.
Yeah, agreed. And I think that's one of the great things about our apprenticeship, which sets it apart from an awful lot of others. It's very marine focused. During the first year, they do on and off the water activities every week. Part of their team building, we take them out on the water, paddle boating, paddle boarding and kayaking, and a whole host of other things. They do the Royal Yachting Association qualifications in sea survival skills, first aid at sea. They do powerboat driver's license level 2 and the VHF radio operator's license. So there's no misunderstanding whatsoever that they work for the marine industry. They love it. They love being able to go on holiday and take their parents out in the boat that they've got the driving licence to be able to take.
Oh,
it's great.
That's so cool. So cool. So I know you've got a bit of a goal in your apprenticeship scheme in terms of females. Mm-hmm. Can you share that with us and how you're working towards that?
So we've worked very closely with local schools over the last 2-3 years to widen the marine opportunities against every single school area. We probably partner with around about 35 different schools, and I want to see more girls in marine. And so last year I had a 75-25 gender split. So I had female applications and apprentices, successful applicants against every single trade, which was amazing. My goal is to get a 50-50 split.
Yay. Love that. That's great. I'd love to see that. Wouldn't that be amazing?
Too. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I think I toured this factory about 5 years ago, and there were definitely more females on the floor today than there were even that short a time ago.
I agree.
I
agree.
And Bill said the same. Yeah, so it's great to see that, and I think it's not about the guys not wanting women in this industry. It's just a lack of awareness that it exists for women.
I agree. And I think there's a lack of education steer against all areas in marine. So there's a big steer for engineering, so women into engineering. But actually, there should be more with boat building. There should be more with composites. There should be more with fab welding. And again, it's all about the art of the possible. And so working with one of the local primary schools, they were going to design their own yacht for me. So along I went with Key Stage 3 and Key Stage 4 children. And they individually presented their concepts to me. So we had dodgems on a yacht. We had helter-skelters, we had ball pits. And I always remember this young girl talking with enthusiasm about a bright red velvet cinema chair where she would be watching a full screen of her favourite movies with popcorn coming out of one arm and a Coca-Cola coming out of the other one. And that's the enthusiasm we want to tap into. And without that project and without that forward-thinking teacher, actually would she have grown up thinking a career in marine was for her? And so we do a lot of work experience every year. We have, over the next 2 to 3 weeks, up to 60 school children coming in with their experience boatline life. And we go out and do a lot of careers events. We did a whole STEM activity over 2 weeks with the National Marine Aquarium. So we had some VR footage, and we had 120 school children sat on the floor in front of this giant shark tank sailing on one of our yachts across Plymouth Sound. And that was the first time that an awful lot of them had ever experienced that. And that's the enthusiasm we want to get, and that's what we want to harness.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love that.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. And do you go kind of further into England because of some kids not living on a coastal area that don't have any exposure to that?
Yeah, so when I first joined Princess, everything was very much based around Plymouth. But now I think with the fact that our apprenticeship scheme is very different to an awful lot, and we've won so many awards over the last 12 months, which is fantastic. The actual outcome means that we have a much higher profile. So we have obviously Plymouth in the southwest, but we have individuals relocating from Scotland, from in the north. We've had applicants from Greece, New Zealand, France, because everyone wants to come and join us, and I think that's great.
That's fantastic.
So while my award cabinet is great to have, actually, the wider marketing piece that does for us as an organisation is fantastic.
Yeah, I can imagine, because it's talking about you as a brand in every way across the world is a positive, isn't it? Because suddenly that brand awareness, and when we talk about buying the real estate in people's minds, in marketing and sales and all those sorts of things, even that process brings your brand in front of a lot of people that may not know about you. So
I agree, and I think it's really important for anyone that's looking to invest in one of our yachts to understand how we develop our people as well, and how we retain those skills. And when we take our apprentices to the boat show, as I previously mentioned, they're all very smart, they're all in uniform. And when you have 50 to 60 apprentices walking down en masse, giving me a heart attack because I'm thinking, please let everything go okay. It's a great thing to see, and actually it's a great image that we're projecting. And a couple of years ago, pre-COVID, we were there and we had 60 odd apprentices, and some of them had been left to their own devices looking around the different shops and everything. We got towards the end and I had all of them lined up in front of our stand and taking some photos that we could use later. And there was a little bunch of people just waiting to talk to me, and this lady said to me, "Excuse me, are you responsible for the apprentices?" And I'm like, "Oh no, what have they done? What have they done?" And I went, "Yes, I am." So she said, "I just wanted to tell you what a fantastic credit that they've been to the organisation all day." And I was so proud, but I immediately turned to my colleague and I was like, "Get them on the bus, get them on the bus quick." So we'll leave on a really good high.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, how lovely, though, for somebody to actually take the time to tell you that.
Yeah, absolutely. I was very proud of them that day.
Yeah. So on that basis, that's obviously something that you love about your job, that you're putting that together. Give me some other things you love about what you do.
Training department, or the learning and development department, is very different to when I joined now. So we have dedicated career pathways against every single role within the organisation. We have online assessments where we look at the innate ability to do a role, so we make a much fairer recruitment process. We have a dedicated talent scheme, and we have dedicated leadership and development pathways. And we have our own Crafted in Plymouth development programme, which we worked very closely with a local provider to make sure that everyone has those really good foundation skills. So it doesn't matter where you are, who you work for, actually your journey should be exactly the same. And that's what we're trying to do, is creating those equal opportunities. And that's what I'm really proud of, and that's what I enjoy.
I love that. So you're working on diversity specifically, and working on making sure that everyone is given an equal opportunity.
Absolutely.
Love that. What do you think is the future of the boating industry in terms of women coming into it to work within this space? Do you think there's anything we can do in particular to try and bring more women into this industry?
I think we have to create as many opportunities as we possibly can from a very early age upwards. I think we need to continue to build strong relationships with the local community, local schools, local colleges. I think we need to look outside of the area. I think we just need to harness that enthusiasm to bring them in. And I think one of the things that I particularly like is when we are bringing in groups of children who maybe aren't enjoying school. Not everybody's academic. And that's one of the great things about the apprenticeship scheme, is that you create opportunities for everyone, is that you start to create a diversity of thought, but that you also enable them to come in and really make a difference. And that's where we're aiming to be. And the more that we can do to do that, and to get people to start to think, so I might not enjoy English and maths, but actually I understand that I need to know that to be able to create the right lengths for my boat, or I've got the right volume of materials for that boat, I can actually start to see and understand why I need to understand formulas and logarithms and everything else. Until you get to that point, it's just a lesson that can be quite boring sometimes. Sorry, all you mathematicians out there.
So giving a point to education, in other words.
Yeah, it's probably best not to quote me.
Oh no, you're all over the world now. Sorry, Alison.
Oh well, my job here is done.
But I want to delve back a little bit into you personally.
Mm-hmm.
You had some very big career roles when you had small children.
I did.
And that's a challenge that a lot of us as women face in having that. Is there some tips that you can give us there were some things that you did that helped you through that process, or?
I don't know how I did it now. When I look back, I had 3 children under 3, and I was a single parent. And I moved to a new area and started again. So I moved from Plymouth to Bristol for a whole host of reasons. I think for most people, the biggest limitations that are ever set on them is the ones they set on themselves personally. So don't listen to other people, listen to your inner voice, and actually move forward and make a success. And I think while it's very easy to listen to criticism, the only person really stopping you from doing anything is you. And so you should listen to the stronger voice inside you to really move forward.
And ignore the negative one.
Absolutely.
So that's very inspirational for all the women out there that you were doing that. 3 children under 3. That is just incredible.
Yeah, things were a little bit different back then as well, because I went back to do my teaching degree part-time. And I had my 3rd son. He was a baby. He was only 6-7 months old. And the university said to me, bring him with you. So he literally used to sleep in the corner in his baby chair, and I used to feed him between lectures. So actually, he's probably one of the youngest individuals ever to go to university at 7 months old.
I love that. But that's a perfect example where situations can help us, where the university has actually said to you, okay, bring them in.
Yeah.
And that made a massive difference to your life.
Yeah.
So it's the little simple things out there, folks. If there's something you can do within your workplace, or something you can do within your training facility, your institution of education, whatever it is that helps women to have a more sort of balanced, not balanced because that's not the word I'm looking for. The word I'm looking for is a fairer opportunity to do what we would love to do. I think that's really, really important, and it's those little things we can do.
I think so. I had a fantastic female manager who would talk to people on an individual basis, and I think once you know what that individual needs, you have an individual solution for them. And so listen to your workforce, find out what they really need, and treat them as you would expect to be treated yourself. It makes a world of difference.
What do you love about working for Princess specifically against the other people that you worked for in the past?
I love my team. I have a really great manager. You can pay me later. But no, I do. And I think I enjoy coming into work. It doesn't feel like a chore. And I know I've mentioned it before, but I really do like making a difference. And I have the autonomy to do that here. And I've worked in lots of different cultures, in lots of different areas, but actually I feel at home here. And I think that's the big difference. My team have my back, I have theirs. There's a mutual respect there. And I think together as a team, there's probably not much we can't overcome. And, and I say that wholeheartedly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
that is actually a massive part of a team. If everybody has each other's backs.
Agreed.
Isn't it? That's really, really important. And unfortunately, sometimes within female teams, especially sometimes, that cannot be the case. And I think we as females need to make sure that, especially for those women that we are bringing up, because you and I are, at the peak of our careers now, and we've done all that hard bit, graft bit, coming up to this bit. And I think we need to make sure, as the more mature women, that we are having the backs of the younger women, but also that those younger women understand that that's a mutual process, and that we need to support each other in order to be the people that need to be there for each other, to help each other. I always say a rising tide lifts all boats.
I think that's great.
And we need to help each other. And if we all help each other, then we will all rise. But if we backstab or if we cause problems for other people, that's not fun. So
no, and I think it's important to share your story with other people and build a really strong network. You know, I'm a firm advocate for having many coaches and many mentors, because you will use them at different points in your career for different reasons. And it's important to have that there. So have trusted individuals, really.
And like you say, talking to them about their individual position. I mean, you were a perfect example. You had 3 children under 3, so you needed a certain level of support, and that was given to you by certain things that you could do, so that you were able to be where you are now, which is amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Talking of which, you took a little bit of a moment. Was it 2017, 2019? You did a master's in creative event management. Why?
Why not?
Why not? See, I love that attitude.
I think I've done such a deep dive into learning and development and talent. I thought that I would find a degree that would complement what I did, but I'd also learn something new. So a lot of learning and development is putting events on. And so for my sins, I signed up and got my master's in creative event management.
Do you think having a master's has made a difference to your career or to you personally?
I think it's made a difference to me. It was quite tough going back into education. Gave me a better understanding of some of the things I put my team through, which was good. It's always for the greater good though, right?
Absolutely.
I enjoyed it. I had the opportunity to take part in the management of the masquerade balls in Venice, because obviously that was a great thing. So I learned all about lighting. I spent 2 weeks in Venice being part of that team.
Oh, you poor
thing.
That
was, I know.
Yeah.
Awful. But then if you think about it, there was water, there was boats, so it was linked along the way. Yeah.
Very appropriate.
Yeah.
In fact, you're right.
I was working for the civil service at the time, so it was quite good to do something creative, she said very quietly, away from the warships.
I love that. But that was an amazing opportunity then. So, and something very different again. Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I think it's important never to stop learning. Everyone's heard the expression, haven't they, that every day is a school day. That was a tough school day. But I agree. It was good.
I agree with you. If you learn something every day and you make the effort to learn something every day, I think we stay more interesting people. We develop ourselves. I love listening to things in my car all the time, because that is an education space I can use for myself. And you can never, I mean, especially about boats. My God, you can never know everything about boats. There is so much to learn about boats. So, and that's the point of this podcast, is teaching people about boats and about the boating industry, which is absolutely fascinating. Yeah. So, Alison, thank you so much for being with us here today. It's been a delight talking to you.
Thank you.
Is there anything you want to tell the women out there about getting into the boating industry that we haven't covered and we really should?
Do it. Just give it a try. It's very different. I think certainly over the last 4.5 years with Princess, I've had the opportunity to do lots of different things, which is fantastic, culminating in a royal visit, which was fantastic. And Princess Anne came. So
that's awesome.
Give it a go.
Yeah. Yeah, she wasn't talking about me, guys. She was talking about Princess Anne.
Yes, I was.
But we can pretend, can't we? Alison, it's been lovely having you here. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. Princess have, of course, looked after us extremely well, as always. And it's been lovely to be here in the UK and enjoy, in fact, quite a bit of sunshine.
Absolutely. It wouldn't be so green if there wasn't a lot of rain in between though, right?
That's true. So guys, it's been lovely chatting with you. Thank you for your ears as always. I hope you've learnt and been a little bit more inspired by Alison and myself today to join this amazing industry. Certainly if you're anywhere in the UK, Alison would love to talk to you about being an apprentice at Princess or any other roles she's got lined up right now. So you can contact Alison by
email alison.thompson@princessyachts.com.
Wonderful. Thanks, Alison. It's been great talking to you. I will see you guys on the water soon. So thank you everyone for your support of the Boat Princess podcast. It's really getting out there and I'm getting some amazing comments and DMs in the back of Instagram. I'd love it if you could review the podcast. The more reviews obviously we receive, the more people get to hear the podcast. And I think the stories that we're getting from the boating industry and from those who love their boating are really important to get out there, not only to help other boaters, but as of course, it is always my goal to get as many women into boating and confident about boating and potentially into the boating industry as well as possible. I'd like to thank my sponsors, Ross & Whitcroft and Quality Marine Clothing, for their absolutely brilliant support. They have been quite incredible. And if you're looking for uniforms for your marina or uniforms for your super yacht or anything in that beautiful sailing clothing, boating clothing space, then of course Quality Marine Clothing and Ross and Whitcroft are the place to go. Thanks everyone. You take care. Please keep sending me all those messages and leaving those comments on Instagram. I really do read everyone and I love them and it really makes a difference to my day. So I'll see you on the water soon.